Hey friends, I just wanted to take a minute and show you how to use our virtual classroom kit. Because I know some of you, this is a new thing for you, and I thought maybe seeing an example of how someone took this kit and built it might be helpful to you. So you're going to start off by just clicking here on our blog. And what this is going to do is it's going to ask you if you want to make a copy of that document. You'll just click yes, make a copy. And what that's going to do is it's going to take that virtual classroom kit, all of those images, and it's going to put a copy in your very own Google Drive. Now, don't worry if it takes it a minute to load up. That's okay. This is full of images, and so it might take a second for it to pull it all up on your computer. So now all my images and things are loaded. I just want to show you what's here. Of course, the first one is just a title slide. The second one is just written directions that tell you how to do all of these things. Slides 3 and 4, I just made some backgrounds for you. Slide 5 is a sample of how I took all of the elements in this PowerPoint and not PowerPoint, in this Google slide set and put them together to just make a virtual classroom. I just put that together as a sample for you. And then the second one is also a sample, but it's a little more bare, so you have a little more space to kind of visualize and add your own elements. You certainly don't have to use 5 and 6. I just think sometimes it's helpful to see how you might put them together. Slides 7 through 12 are all different furniture elements that you might use, okay? And all you have to be able to do to create your classroom is copy and paste. So if you want to use slide 6, then you're ready to go ahead and just start filling it with specific websites and objects and things if you decide to use 5 or 6. But say that you want to use the background on, say, slide 4. You would go back through and you would find something you like. So let's say that I wanted to start with a shelf. I'm going to click that shelf, and then I'm going to hit copy. I'm working on a Mac, so for me, that's Command C. But if you go to Edit, Copy, that will work too, okay? Then I'm going to go back to my background that I want to use, and I'm just pretending like it's slide 4. And I'm going to paste. For me, that's Command V, or you can do that through the Edit menu also. And I'm going to move it to the place I want it. And I'm going to make it large because I want it to be big enough that I can use it like a bookshelf and I can put logos and things on. I'll show you a finished version here in a minute. The next thing that I might decide that I want is a carpet. And I'm going to do this just to show you a really common thing that happens that's easy to fix. So I'm going to copy that again. I'm going to go back to my classroom. I'm going to paste that in. And when I put it here in front of the bookshelf where I want it to be, do you notice how it sort of looks like that the carpet is sitting on top of the bookshelf, and that makes it look a bit odd? And that's just because of the order that I put them in. So you have two options. Sometimes you can fix this just by double clicking it. It will bring up a black box, and you can actually crop your image there to make it smaller. Now, in this case, I don't know that that's the best way to fix this. The easiest way to fix it is just to reorder the objects, and the fastest way that I just reorder them is I will just Command X and take out the bookshelf, Command V, put it back in, and it's automatically going to put it on top, okay? Because the last thing you put in is what it will put on top. If you want an object that is not in this slide deck, and you think, you know what, I want a chalkboard or I want a marker board, but I don't really like the way any of those look. Let me show you a couple of options of the way you can do this. You can go to Insert, Image, search the web, and it'll bring up a search bar here, and you will just type in chalkboard. And you'll either put the word transparent background or You can put in PNG. Either one of those will work. I'm going to do transparent background because that's going to make it so it doesn't have a background that will get in the way. Okay, so I'm going to look through here. I'm going to find one that I like. And let's just say that I like this one. I'm going to click on that. It's going to put a little check mark, and I'm going to click Insert. And now it's going to put that chalkboard really large into my background. So I can resize this to be the size I want it to be. Also, do you see how it has a long shadow? I may not want a long shadow there, so I'm going to double click it, bring that black box up, and I can crop that chalkboard to be the size I want it to be. Now, this window here is very easily moved. It's two elements. It's a background and then the window covering. So when I move that, you'll see it just moved the window part, and then that's just really a picture behind it. So I'm going to move my picture, and I moved my window, no problem. Okay, so that's how you move elements that are already on there, and that's also how you bring in a picture that was not there before. Now, if you haven't worked in Google Slides very much, and say you accidentally grab the wrong thing, if I'm trying to move this chalkboard around and I accidentally grab my rug and I move it there, it's no big deal. All you have to do is click this back arrow, and it's going to take you back in time, and it's going to fix that, okay? So this little back arrow right here is your friend. So copy and paste anything that is in any of these slides. I've got math things, I've got technology things, I've got science things. Just copy and paste those in. If there's something you want that's not there, you go to Insert, Image, search the web, and then you can search for what you want. Don't forget to put transparent background or PNG so that they will layer nicely on top of each other. So now I'm going to show you an example of one that I have already created. And I'm still working on it. And this is a classroom that I'm building for right now that just holds some links of things that I use frequently. So I mentioned earlier that I had some technology things. I just put this computer here, and I'm using it to hold a lesson. I'll show you that in a minute. The next thing that you might want to bring in are logos of things that you use frequently. So in order to do that, you just open a new window, and I'm going to search Epic logo. And I find the one I want. I like this one. So I can make it larger, or I can just copy it directly from here. And I am just going to screenshot this logo, or you can right click it and save it. And then now I'm going to go back to my virtual classroom. And I have the Epic logo in here already, but just for the sake of showing you how to do this, I'm going to bring it in again. That's just one of the iPads that was on one of the technology slides that I'm using it as a picture frame sort of to hold it. I'm going to go to Insert, Image, Upload from Computer. And I'm going to go to my desktop because that's where it's saved. And I'm going to open that. And you will see that I have my Epic logo that I can resize to be whatever size that I want it to be. Then all I did down here, you probably saw when I moved that a second ago, it's linked to Epic. So all I had to do to link that to Epic, I'm going to make that a little thinner. You can play with that. You're going to click this button here. It looks like a chain, and that's for Insert Link. And in this case, I'm linking outside of this slide deck. So I'm going to type in getepic.com. Now, if I had a direct entry, I'm using this one for a training, for training purposes. So I don't have a direct entry for my classroom, but if you have a direct link for whatever website or Flipgrid for your classroom, then that's the link that you would put in there. I'm going to use just the generic Epic link. And now when I click here, when my families click here, it's going to take them to Epic. I have lots of different things linked, and I'll show you how to do that, but I want to show you one more way to link. So this is linked to a kids math activity that's outside of the website also, but this activity, this science activity, is actually linked within this slide deck. And in order to do that, all you do is highlight the picture that you want to link, and you click that chain again. And it's going to give you the option of entering it as a link or linking it as a slide in this presentation. And I want to link this one to slide 2 because that's my science lab, and I will apply that. So in order for parents to do this easier, if you are viewing this, what you want to tell parents to do is they want to click present, because that's going to make the links work even better. They don't have to worry about clicking enter or anything else. If they just click that present button, then everything will work, okay? So if I just showed you the Epic link we put in. When I click on that now, it is going to automatically take my families to Epic and to our specific website that I've put in. Now I closed that out, okay? I've gone back. If they want to click on this as a math measurement activity, when they click on this, it's going to take them to an activity that explains to you how to use a coat hanger to actually make a balance to explore weight and measurement at home. Now, this is a blog that someone else created. This could very well have linked to a Google Doc that you created, okay, that had your very own pictures. Just for the purpose of this, I just put the blog post in. But this would be an example of it clicking to an actual lesson that you wanted families to do. Might be something you find on the internet, or it might be something that you've created. This computer screen is going to link to my STEAM Storytime. It's actually linking to another slide in the presentation, but the parents don't necessarily know this. And within that slide, I've linked a YouTube video. You're reading out of box. I'm here with Joan, and we are going to read one of our very favorite books, and it is called Not a Box. So if you have a video of yourself reading a book or doing an activity you want with your children that you want them to do, I just put that up on YouTube, and then I put it on its own slide, and I linked it to the picture of the computer, and I put a little screenshot in to show that. This is going to link to a blog post that I did, and again, if I have it in the present mode, it's going to make it easier. So that would be the first thing that I teach families, is you click present, and then all of the links will be easier for you to get to. So this actually links, the teddy bear actually is always going to link to a mindfulness blog post, and this is my son and I showing families how to do the strategy Breathe Like a Bear. So families or caregivers can watch this video and they can do that mindfulness deep breathing exercise with me. If I'm creating a virtual classroom this year for young children, mindfulness or brain breaks are something I'm intentionally going to put as a part of my curriculum, because we are working at the lower levels of Maslow's hierarchy of needs right now. I think everybody's feeling just a little bit more stress. So just having the teddy bear in, or whatever your class mascot typically is in, that would be just, think of it as a placeholder that you know you can always go there and have a deep breathing exercise or a brain break activity or something like that. My playground actually links to some yoga. Art for Kids Hub is a wonderful directed drawing site, and that's one that I use frequently. This one actually links to another favorite of mine that I would like to share with families and kids this summer if I'm sending this out to them, and it is Kids Learning Too, but I think this one is Countries of the World, so that's why I had it on the globe. You can see my internet is running a little bit slower today. I think we have too many people in our house streaming on devices right now, but if you have not checked out Kids Learning Tube, I would encourage you to check that out. He has videos on just about every concept.
Get your favorite t-shirt or download your new color. Don't forget to subscribe. Kids Learning Tube.
So if you haven't seen Kids Learning Tube yet, I would encourage you to check that out. Just he has topics on many, many different areas that would be fun for families to go and explore together. My listening comprehension is actually just Storynori. That's a free website where kids can listen to books. You'll see I have mainly filled my classroom right now with a lot of placeholders and websites that I use frequently. That's because I'm thinking about, for open house, basically what I would want to do is to get parents used to the format and some things that they could maybe enjoy together before school started. So they could enjoy a song together. They can enjoy listening to a story together. They can enjoy my son and I reading them Not a Box together. I also have up here is a link to a healthy snack. Just something that I found on the internet that I thought most families could do together easily. Another strategy that I wanted to show you is the frog here links to another slide, and this is actually my lab slide. And this would be an example of a classroom that I might do. The other things that I showed you were asynchronous. This one I might do synchronous. We might do this as a part of a Google Meet, and I would talk them through this. So I've put in a little chatter pics.
Hey friends, Green Frog here, and I've got a little bit of a problem I need your help with.
So for this activity, what we are actually exploring is buoyancy. It's the 5 speckled frogs activity. And Chatterpix is an app on your phone, and you can use any picture that you find or that you take. I just used a Bitmoji, and that little frog there is introducing our problem that we're going to solve. The TV holds a song of 5 speckled frogs. If they click the poster, it's going to connect to slide 3. And that's going to tell parents and caregivers exactly what they'll need to have for the Zoom lesson. I would send that out in advance, obviously. Also, this just, if you're working with young children that cannot read that poster, this shows them exactly what they need to have: 5 stones, some aluminum foil. And then this is a film that I took of my son and I doing the activity that I would share with them. Again, if you click present, if you look at it from presenter mode instead of edit mode, it's going to be a little bit easier to navigate. So this video just shows my son and I doing that activity. I just put that in. I just went to insert video, and this is how I put in the 5 speckled frogs video. It's how I put in the Kids Learning Tube. You go to insert video, and you have 2 options here, and I did it both ways. One way that is so easy, if it's a video that you didn't create or you already have up on YouTube, if you just put the YouTube address there, it's going to automatically pull it up for you. If you have the video in your Google Drive, like my frog video was in my Google Drive, you can also do that, but you'll need to have it in one of the 2 ways. It either needs to be on YouTube or be in your Google Drive, and then you can share it. Again, the background on this video, if I move this out of the way, the background is that same iPad that I used for Epic. I just turned it a different direction and made it bigger. Okay, so you can use anything as the backgrounds that you'd like to, whatever works for you. I used an old school TV over here, and that is in that first template that I showed you. My favorite thing that's linked on here is this frog, and it's actually linked to something called a Padlet. And if you haven't used Padlet yet, I would encourage you to use that in your distance learning. It works really well with a classroom because it is a digital board, virtual board that kids can publish their work to. So I just set this one up to be our hands-on STEAM, to be our 5 speckled frogs. And I used this one actually in a PD I did for teachers, and a lot of them had their family members there. So you will see some children built different boats, and they just shared. I shared my video here that Jonah and I did together when we were testing. You can see some people showed their boat with the stones. Some people used dice instead of stones. We did a sink float test as a part of this experiment also. And some people are sharing their sync float pictures. Basically, anything goes, and you can open it up on your phone or you can open it up on your computer, and it's exactly like attaching a photo to an email, and it just puts it on where everyone can see it. So I have that Padlet linked in. Basically, any tool that you typically use in your classroom with your kids, you can link into this Google slide. If you click, so if I go back to present, if you click here and go back to present, the last thing I want to show you is another tool that I use really frequently with young learners and on my trainings, especially the online trainings, is Flipgrid. So if you click the little Bitmoji of me there, it's going to take them to a Flipgrid where actually Jamie made this one. So I'm seeing it. And it's going to take it just a second to load. Sorry. And this is Jamie telling about a book that she has read this summer, and she's going to be inviting participants to share a book that they have recently read or they hope to read with us. And you can see those directions along the side. So I just wanted to show you, definitely whatever tool, Padlet, Epic, if you have favorite YouTube channels for kids, Flipgrid, whatever tool that you're already using, housing them in this one place for parents is super helpful. The other thing that you could also put in your slide deck, like in the one that I had initially, the second slide, was all the written information. If you had those links and any class codes or password hints or anything that they need to access things for your class accounts, include that in this slide deck too. That way they find everything all in one place. It makes it so much easier. Again, like we said, if you're starting out the year face-to-face, I would encourage you to go ahead and use these tools face-to-face. And then that way, if you move into distance learning, it's not a stress for the families. I have seen people share pictures of their actual classroom. I've seen pictures on the computer screen where it will click to a video that's actually a virtual tour where they just filmed around their real classroom and showed centers or went over classroom expectations. All of those things are so cool to add. Basically, this is the spot that works for you and your learners regardless of age. You saw that I had a science lab. I actually have one that I use when I'm doing trainings that's a virtual workshop room that aligns to standards and that sort of thing. The sky and beyond is your limit here, okay? You can put whatever you need in. If you have questions, Daniel and I are so happy to help you, but hopefully this gives you a good starting point. We'll see you soon. Bye.